The diner sat on the edge of the highway like it had been forgotten by time, neon sign flickering, smell of grease and coffee soaked into the walls, and outside, a line of motorcycles rested like sleeping beasts, chrome catching the late afternoon sun while their riders filled the corner booths, men and women with weathered faces, patched vests, quiet laughter, the kind of people most towns whispered about but rarely truly knew, when suddenly the bell above the door screamed open and a little girl came flying in, so fast she nearly tripped over the mat, sobbing so hard she could barely stand, eyes wide with terror as if something invisible was reaching for her back, and she ran straight toward the bikers as though pulled by instinct, slamming into the side of the table, clutching the arm of the largest man there, her small fingers shaking as she cried, "He's coming! He's coming!" again and again until every sound in the diner died, forks froze, the cook leaned out from the kitchen, and all eyes locked on the child, the biker she grabbed stiffening at first before slowly kneeling so he didn't tower over her, his voice rough but gentle as he asked who was coming, where she came from, what happened, while another biker slid a glass of water across the table she couldn't even lift, and between gasps the girl blurted out broken pieces, that she lived nearby. That she cut through the park every day, that a man had started watching her, standing too close, asking her name, offering candy, that today he grabbed her wrist when no one was looking, his fingers hurting, his breath smelling bad, and she screamed and ran, and as she spoke one biker's jaw tightened when he saw the red fingerprint bruises blooming on her skin, another slowly turned toward the window where a dark sedan sat across the street, engine idling, too still, too patient, the driver's face half hidden, watching the diner, and the laughter that once filled the booth vanished completely, replaced by a silence so heavy it felt like pressure in the ears, and without raising voices or making a scene, the bikers rose from their seats, chairs scraping just enough to signal something had changed, one of them guiding the girl gently toward the counter, telling her she was safe, that she did the right thing, while another paid the waitress and quietly asked her to call the police, and outside the diner the engines roared to life one by one, not in chaos but in coordination, a low thunder rolling through the street, drawing the attention of everyone nearby, and the sedan across the road suddenly shifted, brake lights flickering, the driver realizing far too late that the monsters he thought he could outrun were already awake. Part 2. The bikers didn't rush blindly, they spread out, blocking the exits with practiced ease, years of riding together translating into unspoken commands as the sedan tried to reverse and found steel behind it, tried to pull forward and met chrome and leather, engines revving just enough to vibrate the ground beneath their boots, and when one biker yanked the driver's door open the man inside froze, eyes darting, mouth opening to spill excuses that no one wanted to hear, his hands shaking as he claimed misunderstandings, coincidence, lies unraveling faster than he could speak while phones appeared from bystanders who sensed something bigger than a roadside argument unfolding, and inside the diner the little girl watched through the window, clutching a napkin like a lifeline, heart pounding, until a waitress wrapped her in a hug and whispered that the police were on the way, and when sirens finally screamed down the street the tension broke like a snapped wire, officers flooding the scene, separating people, questioning fast, and when the girl bravely pointed at the man and said that was him, that was the one who hurt her arm, the officers' expressions hardened, especially after searching the sedan and finding duct tape, candy, and a phone filled with photos no child should ever be the subject of, and the man's protests turned into screams as cuffs clicked closed and he was dragged away, neighbors spilling from houses, whispers spreading, the truth rippling outward, and when it was finally over, when the danger was gone and the adrenaline drained, the bikers stood awkwardly to the side as if unsure where they belonged now, until the little girl slipped free from the waitress and ran to them, hugging the same biker who had knelt for her so tightly his eyes burned, thanking them with a small, fierce voice that cracked something deep in all of them, and when her mother arrived moments later, collapsing in tears as she wrapped her child in her arms, she looked up at the bikers with fear at first, then understanding, then gratitude so raw it hurt to witness, and she said thank you again and again until words failed, and the bikers simply nodded, embarrassed, telling the girl she was brave, that she trusted her gut, that she saved herself, and as they mounted their bikes and rolled back onto the highway, engines fading into the distance, the diner slowly returned to normal, but the story stayed, whispered and retold, of the day a little girl ran toward the people she was taught to fear and found protectors instead, and of how sometimes the loudest engines carry the quietest kind of justice.